Hey everybody, how you doing? I didn't want to go 2 weeks without anything, and we were away last week at the SearchCon conference, Terry and I, and learned some really good stuff. Terry shared a bunch of that so far in his group, and yeah, it was interesting. We had a lot of negative SEO guys there, GMB guys there, and then we had Holly. So always learn stuff from Holly. So today what I want to do, first off, everybody, just give me a 1 if you can hear me. Okay. Thanks, Heather. That's all great. So I want to go over a couple of things that I'm actually dealing with when people call me. And so think about some of the things that you guys are doing that are successful, because maybe we can talk about those a little bit. But give me a 1 if you guys are seriously, and that's kind of like in quotes, is anybody seriously using sheets within either the GMB factory, ranking factory, or just using sheets alone for your SEO? Okay, no, not yet. Mark, yes. Blake, yes. No, just getting started. Some. Okay. So we're kind of like 50-50, right? So what I want to, Pete says he's massively, right? So for those of you that are using them, Pete, if you don't mind, I'll probably, ask you to pop on here and give us a little testimonial as to why you're doing that. Are you okay with that at some point? Because what we're finding is that there is so much massive potential power in using sheets, and I'm not sure that we have done a very good job of really explaining that. That's okay, Pete. You could just write it in here. But some of the things that we've been, kind of experimenting with and seeing the value of this, I'm going to kind of go over with you a little bit here in just a couple minutes. But first, I wanted to share one of the things that we talked about, I don't know, a month or so ago or a couple weeks ago was, Keith had done a workshop, our friend Keith Ayers, and, it was a workshop for a business, and how many of you guys know Garey Simmons in here? Is it Simmons or Simons or Simonians? Huh?
Simmons.
Simmons. Everybody, does anybody know Gary? Give me a yes or no. Would like to learn more about that. Yeah. No. See, Gary, you're so anonymous, right? So in the background. Gary is in Baltimore, and I'm in Baltimore. And we are still getting the slide deck from Keith's presentation. Jay, yeah, we are doing that. Let me put a pause in here for a second just to say that some of you may have experienced some questionable PayPal emails, and we've been going through, whatever reason, a PayPal audit. So they basically shut our PayPal down. They weren't taking your payments. They were putting them in pending for 72 hours. And so, this whole process of dealing with PayPal has kind of hooked me up into a bad environment, but we're working through it. We're going to move to some different processes. So if you get some weird shit from me or Gary, don't get too upset about it. Like Heather says, PayPal sucks. I totally agree with you, Heather. So we are going to get the slide deck. I'm going to get it all zipped up and licensed up here pretty soon. Hopefully I can finish it up by next week for you guys, okay? As long as Keith has to approve that. But what I want to do is turn this over to Gary for a second. So Gary, I'm going to make you the presenter. And we had our first Chamber of Commerce workshop on Tuesday, just this week. And I thought it was pretty interesting. We got some pretty interesting results. And so I want to see if I can figure out where everybody is here so I can, there we go. Gary, I'm going to make you presenter. So today we're going to hodgepodge it. We're just going to kind of talk about some things and go back and forth. You can ask some questions, but I really want to concentrate on the power of sheets, power of embeds. We're going to show you some pretty interesting calculations that we're getting from some of the embeds and some of the things that we're doing. So, Gary, I will kind of turn this over to you. You can give us a little bit of a background. But I do want to just kind of say one thing. Chamber of Commerces are babes in the woods. They are sleeping giants. They are Rip Van Winkle. They are totally unaware of the process of what they can do and what they should be doing for who? Their local businesses, okay? And I was totally blown away on Tuesday, totally blown away. So, Gary, give everybody a little overview of what we did, how we got there, and how easy this is.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Patrick. Can you see my screen? I'm not used to this environment.
Only if it's a mountain.
How about now? Can you see my slide deck now?
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, so Patrick and I, when I joined the RFR community and I found out Patrick was in Havre de Grace and I was about 30 minutes away, I thought, man, we should have lunch. So we wound up doing that. We started hitting the Baltimore County Chamber, met some people, got friendly with them. And one of the members of the Baltimore County Chamber is another business forum group that's actually almost a government advocacy group for small and middle-sized businesses in Hunt Valley, which is a suburb of Baltimore. And they had 800 members, but they were a little bit in distress. One director was sort of interim, and then a new director was hired. And in between that, I got involved with the interim director. The director turned me on to the new director. We met, and I shared with her at a Panera or a Starbucks what I had to offer as far as Google My Business as being the more or less center of the universe for local business and local search and increasing web traffic, increasing revenue, increasing customers, prospects, phone calls, how we do that. She was, not completely unaware of what Google My Business was, but I actually was the only one that had ever left a review for them. So she knew my name at least. And we got a date. She got us a hotel room. She brought the coffee and the cake and all that. And she did the promotion. And, so I'm preparing this deck. Thanks to Keith, by the way. A lot of my slide deck is based on his original material. And then with Patrick's help, I made it into my own. But my idea was to make one really big promise that we were going to put the resources of $1 billion company to work for your company for free. And to that end, I developed the stack to be three major secrets about Google My Business. And one of the most interesting slides I thought was just our introductions. We started off, the room had about 9 or 10 people in it. We went around the room, asked people to introduce themselves, what they were curious about Google, things they didn't understand, what it all means, and then asked them to expound on what they're really good at, what their expertise is. And it really opened them up, and they were a very friendly group. And quite interestingly, we demoed our review tool that was developed in the beta process in our community here.
You're talking about the Google review tool.
Google review tool that Patrick helped to beta test with your all's help. And then, we went on from there. We did Keith's, his checklist questionnaire. We did run through that for about 30 or 40 minutes with Patrick led that section of the thing, which was very informative. People were just shocked and beyond belief that there was so much in there that was skimmed over. Or no one's paying attention,
So let me just kind of say here, because I went over the sheet, that Keith had, and yes, we're going to get that out to you, and we're working on a bot for that. But the thing that amazed me, and maybe it shouldn't have, and let me just ask you guys, if you go and talk to 20 businesses, on a scale of 1 to 10, how many of those businesses do you think knows anything at all about the Google My Business? All of, the 17 questions on a, do they know that there's Q&A? Do they know they could put up hours? Do they know that they can build a website? Do they know that they can put up photos? Do they know that they can put their categories? Do they know what their freaking categories are? Right? They don't know anything. I was absolutely stunned, except for one guy in the room who's a dentist who actually had a plan and a program around his Google My Business and around the reviews. Nobody was doing reviews. Nobody knew how to do reviews. Nobody knew what their anything that we went over on the Google My Business page. They knew absolutely nothing. They had their categories like not even consistent. Like what this is a local CPA firm in Baltimore. They got 23 people that work for them. They have one review and it's from the cleaning lady, right? so it's just totally ridiculous, the possibilities and the opportunities that are available with the Google review tool that we just launched a couple weeks ago to make sure that these people get the proper reviews. And they had no idea, no clue. He was the only guy in the whole room, and I'm sure that if we had 30 people, he still would have been the only guy in the whole room that actually answered a review. Now, he answered it totally incorrectly, and we shared with him why, but he actually did answer the review, right? The Google review tool is Karen will put the link in here later for that, okay? But, I really wanted to take this time today not to go over a lot of the products and processes, but you guys, there is just an absolute empty well of business out there. And what we have found out and working with Gary, and Keith had come up with the protocol and putting this together. This is a simple business. But chambers of commerce across this country are totally flipping, sleepless, clueless, and they're yearning for opportunities to do their job for their local constituency, which are local businesses, and they will help you. One of the really cool things about this is what I wanted to have Gary kind of go over is that we now have done this in a local chamber. We have more chambers we're going to do. We have more documentation that we can bring. We can have more credibility. We can have more reviews on the process of what we're doing to give you guys the opportunity and the help to walk into a chamber, and say to them, let us help you, because I want to share something here real quick. Gary Afron, do you have the Leads Factory up?
I do.
All right. So guys, I want you to see this. Okay. I don't even know how in the heck I'm going to get Gary in here. Hold on a minute. Okay, Gary, I'm gonna make you organizer. I'll be back in a minute, Mr. Simmons. Okay, so Gary, you are the presenter.
All right. Now, guys, I want to ask you a quick question, real quick. How many people have this software to go along? I'm going to assume that most people on this call have the poster, the mega poster. How many people have both this software and the mega poster? Can you give us a one?
I do. Poster only. Just purchase leads.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
For the people that don't have this particular, the lead software, you have a hyperjet engine, but you have no fuel. I want you to remember that, and we're going to show you why you have no fuel. This is the most wide open local element for you to get the easiest entry and the largest number of customers, as long as you know how to target specific customers. Now, when Patrick pulled this up, or I pulled this up this morning, there's something that struck me just a little bit ago, and that's right here. I was a member of this Chamber of Commerce back in the 80s. I was also a member of one at College Station way back when. So it kind of struck home. But what I want you to see here is we'll go into the lead section, and I'll show you why this is jet fuel.
Now, we didn't run this all the way through because it would just take too long. But this is an example of what you can see here. Can everybody see Gary's screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, good.
As we scroll across, now it's a lot easier to do this in the spreadsheet that it pulls out. But we're just going to do a little bit right here, and I want to show you something.
Stop right there. Good.
Now, notice something odd right here. They have a virtual tour. It's not claimed, and they have 29 photos on it in an unclaimed GMB. Is that an opportunity for anybody?
Somebody's loading it up.
Here's a bunch with 0 photos, and yet they claimed it, and they don't even have a photo on there. Is that an opportunity for you? See, your target isn't somebody that's sitting in the 3-pack. Your target's everybody that's not sitting in the 3-pack, right? And it's your job to explain why they need to be in the 3-pack. If you go through this process, there's no way they practically can say no when they understand that. Give me somebody that knows. Give me the percentage of leads coming from the GMB versus coming from a website today. Does anybody have that answer? It's not fair if I just hand it to you. Anybody want to speculate what that number is?
3-to-1. More leads are coming through the GMB than the website.
Google says it's 70%, 7 out of 10. I want you to write that number down and understand what it means for you. If you're
had it perfectly correct, 70%.
70%. So if you're in a lead gen, the only place you want to be in a lead gen is where?
Well, I would say
GMPs.
Right, 3-pack.
The 3-pack. So when you look, this is the tool that gives you specific targeted leads. You're not wasting your time calling businesses that don't need you or have no use for you. You're only the ones that everyone you ever talk to should be a target for you. Everybody see that? You're only dealing with the ones that have potential for you to sign as a client. If I was working the phones, I'd be signing 15, 20 a week up.
Well, and you know, with this information and this is just specifically for chambers guys, right? You could do it for plumbers, electricians, you know, candlestick makers. It doesn't matter, okay? But every single one of these 20 chambers, how many of them do you think is a client for us or for you? How many out of those 20, now remember, they're chambers of commerce. How many of them are a potential client for you? How many out of the 20 should be clients for us? Heather, all. Rick, 20.
20.
All. David, yes. Yes. Sean, yes. Okay? So, Gary S., why should every single one of those chambers be our customer?
Because it's very simple. There's no chamber on this list that has less than 200, 300 members, and those members all have local businesses. So it's interesting that a lot of these chambers have 1 or 2 reviews, but some of them are not even claimed. And the fact is there's 300 members in every one of these chambers, and nobody has a process to garner reviews.
Correct.
And every single person that belongs to a chamber, why did they join? They want more business.
You know, there's one little thing that everybody needs to think about. In the local business market, we're always looking for that whale of a client or that home run client. Each one of these chambers represents a whale in itself because it opens a lot of doors. If one client, one member of that chamber of commerce has you for a client or for them for a client, they're going to tell the other ones what you did. You'll virtually start to pick up on a regular basis more and more clients just through a word of mouth through the chamber itself.
And they will promote you. Once you start to get one, you know, they're not necessarily, Gary S., are any of these chambers in competition with each other? Some maybe a little bit, right?
The ones that are right next door to each other, they probably don't like each other very much, but actually they do citywide or region-wide events where they cooperate together.
Exactly. They do. Like we were at an event, I don't know, a month ago, and there were 8 different chambers there, all working together. Okay? So interestingly enough, and Gary, that's great because, you know, that graphic right there gives every one of you in your area enough intel to talk and go see the chambers. And, you know, this is one of the things that Gary S. and I are going to work on along, you know, with some material is to help you walk into a chamber because we have now done it. We have now the opportunity to get referrals, and we now have the chambers that are using the review tool and loving it, right? And so this is the way that we get in the door. So Gary S., go ahead and tell, you know, how we do this. And Mark is asking, what do you charge them? I don't know who them is, but what value are they getting?
Okay, so the chamber quote-unquote program, I give the review software to them for free, which is, if you value it at $97 a month, it's $1,100 a year. It's quite a nice gift for them, with the caveat that I'm going to teach and train them how to use it. And I'm also going to go to meetings and promote reviews for them to get a better standing in Google. Yeah, so it's hard to say no to somebody giving you something worth $1,100. And the very first chamber I approached, the CEO said, "Oh, I suppose you probably want a free membership in exchange?" And I said, "Well, I hadn't thought of that, but that's a great idea." And she gave me a free membership to her chamber. So right now, at this moment, I have I've got 1,600 people out of 3 different business organizations that I can approach as a member to fellow member and offer them training and this type of support and resources. And yeah, it's really the whole giveaway thing, right? Google gives us free tools. We use our maps every day. We search for stuff. It's all free. But what do we do in exchange with them? Well, if we need something from them, they want us to pay for ads. So we don't particularly like doing that. But in some cases it works. And they get very rich and they give stuff away. They give more and more stuff away. They do all this moonshot technology. And I think we should follow suit. If they're giving stuff away, why don't we give stuff away and then collect at the end of the day? I handed out a sheet of paper to do an after action report after the meeting. And we got straight A's. Everybody loved what they learned. The director of the business forum, she was not able to stay for the meeting, but she heard nothing but great things, people raving about us. And so I can share more about the interactions with Patrick was talking about the one dentist in the room that actually had a process set up. And it's very interesting. The reason he had a process set up is because he belonged to another group of marketing for dentists. So he was in a group of 10 dentists that get together once a month and they discuss what they're doing, what they're learning, how they're growing. And that's a business building activity. So our plan, he had to leave early. He had a patient. And he looked at me pleadingly. Yeah, put this slide back up. Oh, can I share my slide again?
I will, but you were saying about advertising. I know that this is sideways, so everybody turn your head. I'm sorry. I tried to get this up here for you earlier. But Gary, explain to everybody what this is.
Full page ad in the membership handbook of Baltimore County Chamber of Commerce promoting Patrick and I as being Google experts and explaining how a Google knowledge panel, how the map works with Google. And I don't know what it's worth in value in terms of dollars if I tried to buy that, but they actually designed the whole thing for me. And then we were able to come in and just make little edits to it and tell her what we wanted. And they're very cooperative. So their mission is to promote best practices amongst businesses. And of course, you start talking about best practices with digital marketing, everybody thinks you need a website. Well, the fact is you need to be in the Google 3-pack before, right? The other interesting slide that Patrick brought up, I'll show my screen again. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
So this guy was in the room. Nathanson Dental, that's Joel Nathanson. I happened to throw this slide in at the very last minute before the program began. I just did dentist near me, and he happened to come in the room, and he was like PO'd that he was not first.
Exactly. He's ticked.
And he had 75 reviews, and they're all 4.8. So he kind of looked at me. He had to leave at 10 o'clock, and he looked at me pleadingly. I just hired a company to redo my website. And he's like, what am I going to do? And I said, don't worry, free consultation. I'll do some consultative work with you. It won't cost you anything. We'll talk about it. So, talk about people eating out of the palm of your hand. Honestly, just having that little interaction with them at the beginning, letting them speak, get their stuff out, what they're concerned about. And then we were able to come in and supply the answers as to, one reaction, really top-notch business guy, medical equipment type guy. He said, I didn't know half of what you shared. And honestly, we only shared 3 secrets.
Crazy.
We sort of started peeling the onion. That's all we did, but it was pretty cool. And what else, Patrick?
Well, that's it. I just really wanted to, let everybody know that reviews reviews, reviews. Does anybody know what I'm thinking right now? Reviews, reviews. Use the tool. If you don't have it, look it up yourself. Search. People need reviews. And how do we do this? It was very simple. Everybody in the room, pick up your phone. Type in, tacos near me. What are you going to click on? And then you just shut up and let them go through all the ads, and they bypass all the ads, right? Then they get to the 3-pack and they say, well, here's a 3-pack and this guy's got 80 reviews. The other guy's got 2 reviews. I'm not going to go to the 2 review. I'm going to the 80 review, right? So, Brad, the sales page isn't designed for a sales page. It's designed strictly for people to go there and buy the product because we haven't put it out for sale yet. It's only internally for us. So, but the whole idea, we went back and showed people the difference between reviews and how they're working and answering reviews. So you got to have a way of getting your clients reviews. And the people that are using the GMB review tool are just killing it right now. I mean, we've got one guy's got, 50, he's got 50 licenses to go out and set up all these businesses for them. I had a gentleman last night I was talking to on the phone. We shared with him a little bit about it. He went out this morning and got his dentist to sign up already. And this is not a pitch about that. I just want you guys to think about what and how you can easily get in the door. Because if you're going and selling SEO, that's $500 to $1,000. If you want to go do GMB, SEO, that's $500 to $2,500. If you want to go sell somebody, how to get more reviews and more business, it's $97 for you to sell that to them. And you put $89 of that money in your pocket. So it's easy to make money and it's an easy sale. Okay? So I don't want to belabor it, but I just wanted to share with you what we were able to accomplish and how simple and how easy it is and how, I think this is the key, Gary, how approachable are the chambers when you're going to give them something that is going to increase their exposure, and then you offer them, let me see if I can coin this phrase correctly, non-dues
revenue,
income or revenue.
Non-dues revenue.
Yeah.
You say non-dues revenue to a chamber, they're going to melt right in front of you.
Correct. Okay. So,
Patrick, can I do this one slide?
All right, go ahead.
So this was a case study in there about reviews, right? So here's Kolb Electric on the left, 2.9, 18 reviews. This is Washington, D.C. This is a suburb of D.C., Walter Electric, 107 reviews, 4.5. Who are you going to hire? This guy's got a yellow van. He's got an orange van. What's the difference? Well, here's the difference. First, let me show you this. This is Kolb Electric, 1 4-star with, I wish you guys weren't so damn expensive. And then 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. And this is the first 1-star review. The first sentence says, I wish I had read reviews on Kolb before hiring them. Do you need to say anything else?
Yeah, the rest of it's doesn't matter.
The guy wrote a book. The guy was trying to help the company to understand where they blew it, which is a consultant's job, right? Fix the problems, man. Anyway, it turns out these companies are actually related, believe it or not. This was the grandfather started this in 1930. This is his granddaughter. She broke away from them when she didn't agree with how they were running the business, and she started her own business. And she's doing pretty good. So anyway, that's it for me.
Okay, man. I appreciate it. My review shtick, you're not going to roll the dice on a 3-star sushi restaurant. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. I would roll the dice on a 5-star sushi restaurant, let alone a 3. Right? So anyway, that's kind of what we wanted to bring to the table today. And I know that we're a little off cuff here, but it was so easy. It was so simple. And more importantly, Gary, it was a ball. It was fun, right?
I had a lot of fun.
You didn't have a bunch of wise asses thinking that, oh, I know more than you do. They sat there with their jaw open. Their jaw open, not draw, right? Their jaw dropped because they didn't have a clue what we were talking about. And it really makes us look smart, even though we're not. So I'm sure we're going to get 4 or 5 businesses, out of half of the businesses that were there are going to hire us to do something or hire Gary to do something. So anyway, that's my stick on that. Anybody have any questions, in reference to this? We're going to put some data together. I'm going to put some more data together on the website for the GMB Review Factory. I'm going to do a little video about it, show you what it is. But, and I do have a coupon code. And I'll put that in here later so that everybody can get that at a much lower price than what we have it on the website for. Okay. So the slide deck, can you get our slide deck? That's up to Gary, but I don't see any reason why you can't. But
I have one final question for Gary.
Yeah.
Did you have a case of Depends to sell to him on the way out the door?
No.
So you lost that extra income opportunity, didn't you?
Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks for that. That's a really nice picture in my mind right now.
so there's a 25 to 33% discount, that I'll put a discount code in here for everybody on the site. You do have to register first. You can't just see the price points on the site. You have to register. That'll take you to the price points, and then you can see the various plans that we have. But, they are really, really cool. And it's such an easy way of doing business. My gosh. Yeah, it's too cool. All right. So secondly, we had on the agenda can we upgrade number of accounts over time? Absolutely, Heather. Absolutely. There's not a problem with that.